As we mentioned, the NFL trade deadline is upon us, Tuesday, November 4th, also known as my birthday. It's the last shot for teams to make a roster change through trades. Take a look at the odds to win the AFC West. This is how things are sizing up. In a stacked division, the Broncos, of course, in control, but the Chargers and Chiefs right on their tail, and with the proper moves at the deadline, could make things interesting. We have our eyes on the Chargers. Reports say they may be open to trading for a running back, some offensive line help. We welcome back in our NFL insiders, Mike Renner and JP Acosta. The consensus seems to be that the Chargers are a couple pieces away from being an outright favorite. That means they're working with some urgency at the deadline. Mike, you want them to start on the defensive side of things and target Jets defensive end Jermaine Johnson. Why?
One, I think he fits what they want to do defensively. He's a every down sort of power end. Two, they're really missing that with Khalil Mack been banged up this year, although he is back now, but that gives you at least a rotation there on the end that can do it. And three, the cap space makes sense for them because this is not just a one-year move. He's a former first rounder who already has his fifth-year option picked up. So it's this year he's cheap, next year he's more expensive, and next year they have a lot more cap space. And so instead of needing to re-sign Khalil Mack this offseason or needing to re-sign Odafe Oweh, who they already traded for, they'll already have Jermaine Johnson on the roster. So it's a little bit more than just this year in terms of team building. From the Jets' perspective, he's been so banged up with the Achilles last year, the ankle this year, wasn't part of this regime that drafted him. They may just be saying, we'll get back whatever we can get the cap relief next year and try to rebuild this roster in our image.
Absolutely, Mike. All right, JP, you say they need some help running the ball. The Browns' Jerome Ford is who you think should be on their radar. Why is that?
I think Jerome Ford should be on this team's radar largely because they need some help as a pass protection and pass catching unit from the backfield. Jerome Ford isn't going to be a guy that costs a lot when it comes to trading for him. I think he adds a lot to a room that already has sort of like the hammer in Amari and Hampton. I think Kamani Vidal has offered a lot in Amari and Hampton's absence, but Jerome Ford just adds a lot as a pass catcher, as a pass protector. And when you think about some of the things that the Chargers need in that backfield, it's just some steadiness. It's just some steadiness in pass pro, some steadiness with his hands, and Jerome Ford just adds a little bit more of that than the guys they already have on the roster, and it just adds another person to that room that's already been ravaged by injury. So it just adds some more insurance to the running back room, some experience, and a legitimate third down guy.
Yeah, I'm not going to say no to ever adding more talent to a roster, but this one better come cheap, I'll say. If you're getting Jerome Ford, it better be like a 7th in 2027 or something like that, because as JP mentioned, like he is really a niche player for this team. And yeah, he could fill a minor role, but it's not like he's a massive upgrade, not like he's taking carries away from anyone if you did trade for him.
We love it. Mike, we mentioned it. Justin Herbert, that poor man, he needs some protection. So you say look no further than Saints offensive tackle Trevor Penning. Is that right?
Now, I'm not sure he's actually going to be protecting Justin Herbert. Well, that's never been his MO. That's why he got moved from right tackle to left guard this offseason, but it really hasn't worked out for him at guard for the New Orleans Saints. And right tackle, at least he was a road grader in the running game. And that's something that they may have to hang their hat on down the stretch if they want to make the playoffs. Obviously, Justin Herbert, the most pressured quarterback in the NFL this year. You do need the help in pass pro, but it would also help him if they could run the ball at a really high clip, and he at least could give you that. So it wouldn't cost that much. They declined his fifth-year option there in New Orleans. They don't see him as part of their long-term plans. If he goes to the Chargers, he could definitely be an upgrade over what they have already on the roster.
All right, JP, back to the defense. You want them to go after Jets defensive tackle Harrison Phillips. Why is he the fit?
I think Harrison Phillips is more of a fit here because he adds just another strong body against the run. The Chargers have really struggled in the run game this year, especially compared to last year when they were so strong defending the run with lighter bodies and lighter numbers in the box. This year, that just hasn't translated. Harrison Phillips is the quintessential dirty work, glue guy defensive tackle. You're never going to notice him until he pops back up on tape, watching him after the game, and you're saying, oh, he made a great play there to free up a linebacker to go make the tackle. That's the kind of guy Harrison Phillips is. That's the kind of guy that I think Jim Harbaugh with Jesse Minter wants in that defensive tackle room. And again, you can never add too many bodies to the defensive line. When we see what Philly did last year winning the Super Bowl, they could just rotate bodies on a defensive line. When one guy came out, you had another guy that's just as capable. I think the Chargers are still needing to find that. And if you have a guy like Harrison Phillips on early downs that can win in the run game, that keeps everybody else fresh when they need to turn up the heat in pass rush situations. So I think Harrison Phillips makes a lot of sense, not going to cost a lot for the Chargers. And we're going to look back on it if they do it and be like, hey, that was a pretty good deal by the Chargers late in the season.
All right, Mike, you already mentioned one piece to the O-line, but you want Jonah Williams for the Chargers from the Cardinals. Tell me why.
Yeah, it's kind of either or, Jonah Williams or Trevor Penning. It's depending on what you really want. With Penning, you have a run blocker. With Jonah Williams, you get a higher floor in pass protection. Now you're not getting like elite pass protection. You're obviously, that dream was dead when Rashawn Slater got hurt in the preseason. But this is a guy who isn't going to be a complete liability out there. He's an impending free agent for the Arizona Cardinals after this season. He's already up there in age. And if they lose to the Cowboys on Monday night, they drop to 2-6. The Cardinals won't be contenders this year. Get what you can get for a guy who's still a useful piece and will be far, far more valuable to a team like the Chargers trying to make a playoff run.
All right, guys, we appreciate the time. We appreciate the hot takes on what the Chargers should do. All right, the Chargers, they have the struggling Titans right here on CBS on Sunday. Then the top of the AFC North Steelers. Take a look at the rest of their schedule. The Jags, then they've got the bye week, the Raiders, the Eagles, the Chiefs, Cowboys, Texans, and the Broncos.